You know that feeling when you're sitting in your car in the parking lot, just staring at the steering wheel for an extra 5 minutes because you can't bring yourself to walk through the door? Or that heavy, sinking sensation in your chest when a specific name pops up on your Slack notifications? Most people call that work stress, but if you're being honest with yourself, it's deeper than that. You've started mentally rehearsing every sentence before you speak so you don't trigger a mood swing. You're proofreading a simple two-sentence email 10 times to make sure there isn't a single word that could be twisted into a sign of disrespect. You aren't just an employee anymore. You've been drafted into a full-time role as a crisis manager for your boss's ego. If you feel like you're losing your edge, if you're starting to believe you're actually as difficult or unreliable as your manager subtly implies, I need you to take a breath and listen to me. You aren't losing your mind, and you aren't failing at your job. You are being targeted by a toxic system. Today, we're talking about the red flags of toxic management. We're going to look at the calculated, often quiet ways bad managers erode your confidence just to keep you under their thumb. Because a company can have the best benefits and a beautiful mission statement, but if your direct manager is toxic, your daily reality is a nightmare. They are the lens through which you experience your professional life, and if that lens is cracked, everything you do is going to look distorted. Most people think a toxic workplace is a general vibe or a collection of bad policies. It isn't. In 90% of cases, the toxicity is a top-down delivery system. We call this the catalyst effect. A single toxic manager can take a team of high-performing, happy professionals and turn them into a fractured, paranoid unit in less than 6 months. They are the primary driver of your environment. They control the narrative of your work. They hold the pen during your performance reviews, and they decide which version of you is presented to the leadership team. When that person is more interested in their own power than the team's success, you aren't in a career anymore. You're in a hostage situation. Toxic managers don't usually start with screaming. Screaming is amateur. It creates witnesses and HR complaints. Real corporate toxicity is quiet. It's a slow erosion of your self-worth until you're too tired to leave and too insecure to challenge them. Here are the 7 signs you need to stop rationalizing. First, feedback that feels like a shakedown. In a healthy environment, feedback is a tool for growth. It's specific, it's actionable, and it's balanced. In a toxic one, feedback is a weapon. You'll know this is happening when the criticism becomes personal. They don't talk about the data, they talk about your attitude or your fit. They give you feedback that directly contradicts the instructions they gave you last week. Or they wait until you've finished a 3-month project to tell you the direction was wrong from day one. This is designed to keep you in a state of perpetual debt. You are always trying to pay back a performance deficit that they are inventing in real time. Second, the reputation saboteur. This is the most dangerous sign. This is the manager who is perfectly pleasant to your face, but spends their skip-level meetings planting seeds of doubt about you. They won't say you're bad at your job. They'll say, "She's a great worker, but I'm worried she's reaching her ceiling," or "I'm not sure she's ready for the pressure of a lead role yet." They frame their sabotage as concern. By the time you realize your reputation is being dismantled, the people 2 levels up have already internalized a narrative about you you never had the chance to correct. Third, the erasure of accomplishments. Have you ever pulled off a miracle? You saved a client, you fixed a budget, you stayed up until 2 a.m. to hit a deadline? In a normal world, that's a win. In a toxic manager's world, it's a non-event. They will refuse to acknowledge your wins because acknowledging your value gives you leverage. If they admit you're essential, they have to pay you more or promote you. So instead, they move the goalposts. You hit the target, they tell you the target was too easy. You saved the client, they tell you the client shouldn't have been upset in the first place. They are erasing your history so you have nothing to stand on when it's time to ask for a raise. Fourth, chronic micromanagement as a tool of control. We've all worked for a perfectionist, but toxic micromanagement isn't about the work, it's about the leash. When a manager insists on being CC'd on every internal email or demands a status update every 2 hours, they aren't trying to ensure quality, they're trying to strip you of your agency. They want to prove that you cannot be trusted to function without them. It's a way of infantilizing you so that you stop thinking for yourself. Once you stop thinking for yourself, they have total control. Fifth, the chaos manufacturer. Toxic managers thrive in chaos because in a well-ordered system, their behavior stands out. They'll turn a simple task into a bureaucratic nightmare. They'll schedule a mandatory meeting at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday to discuss something that could have been an email. They change the priority of the day every 4 hours. This keeps the team in a survival mode loop. When you're constantly scrambling to put out fires they started, you don't have the mental energy to look for a new job or notice how badly you're being treated. Sixth, gossip and smearing. Watch how your manager talks about your colleagues when they're not in the room. If they're venting to you about how lazy Sarah is or how clueless the director is, I can promise you one thing. They're saying the exact same things about you the moment you walk out that door. They use gossip to create factions. They want you to feel like you're on the inside so you'll be loyal to them, while simultaneously making sure the team never trusts each other enough to compare notes on the manager's behavior. Seventh, general hostility and jerk behavior. Sometimes we overanalyze things. Sometimes your boss is just a jerk. Constant sarcasm, eye-rolling in meetings, ignoring your emails but responding instantly to others, this is basic hostility. It's often dismissed as a strong personality or having high standards. No, high standards require high support. If they provide the pressure without the support, they aren't a leader, they're just a bully with a corporate title. There's a myth that only bad employees get treated this way. That is a lie. In fact, if you are a high performer, you are actually more likely to be targeted by a toxic manager. Think about it from their perspective. A toxic manager's greatest fear is being exposed as incompetent or unnecessary. If you are smart, efficient, and well-liked by the rest of the organization, you are a threat to them. You are a variable they can't fully control. Their goal isn't to help you grow, it's to erode your confidence so deeply that you start to believe you're lucky to even have a job. They want you to stay in that gray zone, working at 110% capacity while feeling like you're failing. They want to harvest your labor while keeping you too insecure to ever ask for the credit. If you've realized you're in this trap, the hustle culture advice to work harder is the worst thing you can do. You cannot work your way out of a toxic person's bad opinion of you. Here is the tactical reality of how you protect yourself. Phase 1 is emotional detachment, also known as the gray rock method. The toxic manager feeds on your reaction. They want you to be flustered, defensive, or emotional because it justifies their narrative that you're unstable or difficult. Become the gray rock. Be professional, be polite, but be incredibly boring. Give short, factual answers. Don't vent to them. Don't share personal details. If they criticize you unfairly, say, "I hear your perspective. I'll review the data and get back to you." If they try to gaslight you later, you have the time-stamped proof. Keep a private log off your company computer of every incident, dates, times, witnesses. You may never use it, but knowing you have it gives you a psychological armor. You aren't crazy, you have evidence. Phase 3 is building alliances outside the bubble. The toxic manager wants to isolate you. They want their voice to be the only one you hear. Break the bubble. Build genuine relationships with people in other departments. Volunteer for cross-functional projects where other leaders can see your work firsthand. If the person 2 levels up knows you're a rock star, it makes it much harder for your manager to lie about your performance in closed-door meetings. I'm going to be very honest with you because I value your time more than I value corporate optimism. Toxic managers rarely change. The organization usually knows they're a problem. If they haven't fired them yet, it's because the manager is providing something the company values more than your well-being, usually short-term results or a willingness to do the dirty work. You are not going to be the hero who fixes the department. Your job isn't to change them, it's to outlast them while you plan your escape. View your current job as a sponsored search for your next one. Use their salary to fund your certification, your networking, and your interview outfits. Don't quit in a blaze of glory tomorrow. That just gives them the satisfaction of calling you unprofessional. Instead, methodically build your exit ramp. When you're being gaslit from 9 to 5, you have to be fiercely protective of your 5 to 9. A toxic manager wants to occupy 100% of your brain. They want you checking your phone at dinner, wondering what they meant by that vague comment. Don't give them that real estate. Spend time with people who actually know you. Do things you're undeniably good at, whether it's painting, running, or being a great parent. Remind your brain that you are a competent, valuable human being who just happens to be stuck in a bad room right now. You are being evaluated on a scoreboard that was rigged before you even arrived. Don't let a person who doesn't even respect themselves convince you that you've lost the game. You're just playing in the wrong league. And the good news? The transfer window is always open.